Hello, nerds. Welcome back to another episode of the New Block Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Chris, aka Prince, with the homie Duran, aka Medic Grizzly. Duran, how we doing, bro?
What's good, peoples? Good, man.
Good. All right, so, folks, we're back to review Secret Invasion Episode 4. Duran, has been the shortest episode of the series, but a lot happened in this episode. Like when the episode ended, I was like I almost felt cheated because I was like, damn, I want some more. But it was like it's objectively the shortest episode of the series. But so give me your first reaction, because there's a couple of things in this episode that we talked about weeks ago that we kind of figured were going to happen, and a couple of things that I did not see coming. So
All right,
I
so
want to know your initial thoughts.
initial thoughts. I did not know that she took the Super Scroll formula, which explains why she's in future trailers. Gaia actually knowing that she's still alive explains why she's still alive, but also explains why she's now on the other side of her and Gravity thinks she's dead. It also shows that Samuel Jackson is the mother freaking man. That man act this episode. It was emotional. You saw it come out of him, and the marriage, as we saw in the previous episodes, was falling apart. It has concluded that it's no more. It's over. But she was instructed to kill him, bro. I didn't see that coming. We all knew. We heard War Machine. We predicted him being a Skrull. We heard his voice in the Sam meet up there. He ended up being a Skrull, which was kind of weird because it was a female Skrull, which explains why his, I don't want to say female tendencies of snapping back. I don't want to like audience don't kill me, but it just was more of a sassy type vibe, and that explains the character.
I think even more so. It didn't seem like the Rhodey that we know, like based on what you just said. Like it's like I don't think that the real Rhodey would have made certain comments here and there, like, oh, when he was talking about, oh no, I didn't just fire him, I DDT'd him off the top rope, and it's just like, what kind of line is that? I mean, funny, but like, you know what I mean? That I don't think that's not a line that I feel like Rhodey would say.
Just the fact that someone's like this is hilarious. You're right about that. And then we see the meeting, and he said, "Hey, somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to get a bullet into him. You gotta do what you gotta do." And she has pushback, and it's almost if they knew Nick was listening, so they kind of like she was trying to defend him. Hey, he's not there anymore. He's not the same guy. Right. You don't have to do this anymore. And then he's like, "Well, somebody got to go. Either you do it, or I'm gonna do it. He has to get out of here. No questions asked." And that was like straight cutthroat, which we were not used to for him. So we definitely knew that wasn't his character.
Right.
But how'd you feel about when the married couple, Samuel Jackson's wife ex-wife, were at the table? Like, how'd you feel about that energy, the reciting the poetry, everything about that?
I was gonna say I love this scene, like how they brought back her favorite poem, like right before they both kind of draw their weapons on each other. I gotta say though, I was kind of hoping, this is gonna sound terrible, and I'm gonna explain myself. I was kind of hoping that he was going to have to kill her, because I feel like that would have upped the stakes in an emotional and almost kind of like paranoid level, right? Yeah. Because again, these are shapeshifters, right? So like the fact that his own wife had betrayed him and gone against him and was hired to kill him, I think it would have meant so much more had he been forced to kill her in that moment moving forward, because then it's like, damn, who can you really trust? Is Talos even who Talos is? Is Gaia who she says she is? Or anyone you walk past in this series, are they humans? Are they Skrulls? If they are they a good Skrull? Or are they one of Gravik's Skrulls? Like, we don't know. You know, I feel like that would have like upped the stakes in a way that I feel like now you just kind of made her an ally, which I get, and we've seen the trailers of like her and Gaia kind of back to back.
Yeah.
You know, kind of, you know, doing their thing. So we know that that's going to happen, but still, I mean, that didn't take away from the scene. Like, the scene was the scene was still great. It was still very emotional. But yeah, to your point, like it was like, look, we obviously cannot stay married after this.
Like the titles of these particular series have been straightforward and right to the point. Beloved.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know me, I love spoken word. Like jazz clubs like that, just having just scenes of people expressing their feelings and just you're captivated with the words and the emotional flares of their face. Like they were both in that moment where there was a sense of love, but at the same time both were being cautious. Because she even said her initial plan was to get a face of someone that can basically pass his senses, detective. That's why he chose that face. Like, yeah, you understand you're still the daughter of the doctor. You chose someone that Nick Fury will be attracted to. That would be his guard will be down. That's some conniving stuff from the gate, bro.
And that's like really playing the long game too.
That's
if
that
was
up,
always going to be your plan, was to kind of get his guard down and kind of that's diabolical shit. That's
diabolical. On top of that, let's just put this in even more. Why you have a gun inside a safe box? You've been in that house for how many years and Nick ain't been there? Like you've been always having a backup plan in case something pops off. You go back to what you were going to do. It just showed you that there was no real love there, and the scene like Nick get crushed again. Like, yo, yeah, this ain't gonna work. This not gonna work. And then if the final line, would you love me if I never changed? And he was like, guess we'll never know. Yeah, that was so cool, so cool.
Yeah, and it's sad, right? Because like we look at Fury as this kind of untrusting, always one step ahead of everyone else. And, he even says to her, at the table, he's like, look, even sitting here now, knowing that you plan to kill me, I can't guarantee that if I could do it all again, that I wouldn't do the same thing. That's surprising to hear someone like Fury say something like that when he's being confronted with probably the worst betrayal that he's experienced.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is his wife. I mean, yeah, she's a Skrull, but this is his wife. He married her. Like and there is real love there underneath all the other nonsense, I think, right? So it's just I feel like it humanized Fury a lot in this episode, in that scene, because outside of his wife, Fury doesn't have any like real tight connections like that. Or maybe Maria Hill, but she's dead now, so that maybe we don't know.
All right, so rock with me, okay? Rock with me. I'm not saying that Nick Fury did not. I thought when the scene cut, I thought he put a cap in her. I really did. Really, really did. And for him to even take the chance of her capping him makes me even like believe that's not Nick even more. Like it is, because the game of chances, like if I know you are planning to kill me and this is Nick, if you were to kill that person, substitute Skrull or Andrew, whatever you want to say, Nick is still Nick. I just feel like that wasn't him. And that's just my person. It just goes more to it. But she's not making out the series, bro. She getting capped. Like I think War Machine gonna get her. Like it's a wrap next episode. If not next episode, season finale, she's not making out the series.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you bring up. I think it would make sense for her not to make it out of the series. Just for stakes. But also, your actions have consequences. I mean, we understand that the Skrulls are pretty divided, and that there's some Skrulls like Talos who want to continue putting their faith in Fury and the people of Earth, and then there's Gravik's Skrulls, right? So like, and look, the Rhodey Skrull pretty much told her straight up, like, look, if you don't do it, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna kill you too. Essentially, is what they were saying. So like, there's obviously going to be consequences. I mean, Gravik already tried to kill Gaia. If she hadn't given herself the Super Skrull serum or whatever experiment, she'd be gone too, right? And so, again, we talk about the trailers and them being together, working as a team. It's just like, look, it's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better.
So there's a parallel to a prior series that I'm starting to draw a lot of contrast to. I'm starting to like this is reminding me a lot of Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, like basically, like Benzo went over there and like Benzemo and the entire factory of like the super soldier serum. How he didn't want no one to take him because he wanted everybody to be human. He didn't like the fact that
Oh,
people were actually
you're referring to Civil War when he killed
no,
those
actually
others.
in Winter Soldier and Falcon, the last the first series, the actual series,
Oh,
the
right. Yes,
television
yes,
show.
yeah. The actual series. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
the
sorry.
actual
Yeah,
television
yeah.
series. This is like remind me of that. How
Mm-hmm.
like they didn't want only certain people were allowed to have this. The fact that you don't know who's advanced, who's not advanced, it just throws the entire like chemistry off of what's really happening. And I don't say you can't trust people. You don't know who's really a super soldier. It's just a lot of things going on, and it's going to be a lot of mayhem. And I feel like when they were going to go after the president, it's exactly what they were trying to do. Like you said, they were saying, make like say Russian, say you're this, you're that. They're trying to bring nothing but chaos, and it just shows you that I don't think he really has a plan. Like you could say his plan is to kill the president and for them to actually get rid of people in general. But I don't necessarily think that Gravik is as smart as I think he is. Like he's starting to show kinks in his armor a little bit because you would have made sure that job was finished. You wouldn't have pulled off if you
Right.
knew she was there. Like you would have made sure she was buried away. She was done.
Yeah, because he ended up changing into one of the other soldiers and basically trading a life because he ended up killing Talos instead of the president, which I felt like if you were going to pull that let me switch into someone else card, it should have been someone close to the president so that you can assassinate the president and forward your plan on, right?
Yes.
Not going out on a personal vendetta and killing Talos. Like, what is going to get you closer to your goal at that point? Killing Talos or the president?
So when Talos stabbed him, I knew Talos' days were numbered. I knew that he was gonna get him back for that. Like he
Yeah,
did that
yeah,
in front
yeah.
of all his peoples. You knew that was gonna happen. And just seeing like the emotional, even the Gaia and Talos having a conversation prior, and Gaia wanted to know, hey, what is your plan? Like, what's the end game for our people? Do you ever want to be in your own skin? And everyone's like so happy with being here on Earth, and there's some scrolls who just want to be able to be in their true form in their own place and have their own freedom. And being here on Earth may never allow, like, give them that privilege. So you're going to see like almost like a triangle divide. You have some that just, I don't want anything to do with the war. I don't want anything to
Right.
do with the president. I just want to be over here and be myself. So seeing that and knowing after the last conversation they had, and then seeing him get bodied at the end when they try to save the president and how he was trying his best to get the president out because that was his end game to make a treaty. I saved your life, saved my people, and I die in the process of trying to save you, and we may never be able to save my people. It's like, damn, why I do all this in the first place?
Yeah, it's a tough situation that like the scrolls are in, and I understand why Gaia felt the way she felt when Talos gave her his answer when she asked him, that question of like, what's our plan? And that not being enough for her because he's essentially like, look, we'll continue showing them that we are not like Gravik,
Yeah.
and they will grant us amnesty, and this can be our new home. And she's, I understand where she's coming from. Like, don't you want to stop this facade? Like, don't you want to live in your own skin? I mean, imagine if you had to put a mask on every single day and not living your true self. You know what I mean? Like, can you truly ever be happy pretending to be someone that you're not? So I understand like how it's a struggle for some of them to either be on Talos' side, be on Gravik's side, or be Gaia somewhere in the middle where it's like, look, I'm not trying to just walk around looking like a human forever, but I'm also not trying to do whatever the fuck Gravik's got planned, right?
Yeah.
Um, but to your point about Gravik, about him not having a plan, I think there might be a little bit of truth to that. I think his plan is chaos, right? It's almost like Littlefinger-esque in that regard because he's like just trying to stir up shit to get things in disarray. And once things are in disarray, then he can come in and do whatever he needs to do. Right? Because like And I do think that there is a lot of pride in Gravik because the point I was just making about him kind of trading the president's life for Talos's life, that was a personal vendetta. He put that personal vendetta ahead of his mission. His mission was to kill the president because just like we talked about, what is going to get you closer to your goal? Killing Talos or killing the president? Honestly, killing Talos and having Talos give his life to save the U.S. president only furthers Talos's cause.
And that's why I say I feel like he's, I don't want to say a little kid high on candy right now in Sugar Rush because he has a power. He actually went out in front of the entire battle and showed his group power like it wasn't a secret at all. Why wouldn't you take out Nick? You had the chance. President, Talos, Nick. You chose Talos. He's like
you chose the weaker of
all of them.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take out Nick? Like you had a chance right there to take out Nick. You had your shooters. That's who I would take out. Because chances of Talos actually going to the president, you don't care about that. Nick is the person you got to worry about. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what are you thinking? What is your game plan? Because it doesn't make sense to me anymore. At first, it was to try to destroy humanity so they can walk around this, but now it's almost like, I don't know. I just don't. What are you trying to prove to your crew? Even you have your own people questioning you now about what's going on. It just doesn't. I think he's going to unravel really soon.
Yeah, I think so too. I think all of this, because he's accumulated a lot of power very quickly.
Yes.
I do think all of this is going to come back to bite him in the butt. Because like to your point, like you said, kind of like a kid like high on candy because he has these powers. The thing is about Fury is like Fury is a master tactician, right? So now that Fury knows what he's up against as far as Gravik's powers, now he can plan for that. To your point, if he just comes out and does a surprise attack and kills Nick, kills the president, this is over. This is over. He's won.
And they both were in the same spot.
Right, but you give Fury a chance to kind of retreat, regroup, lick his wounds, look at film, and develop, you know what I mean, and develop a plan. And if we know anything about Fury, is that he's always, again, I've said it every single episode, that he's got some shit up his sleeve. I'm sure he does.
I'm going to tell you next episode, the end of next episode, he's coming from the ship. The end of the next episode, he's going to come down from the ship, and then the scene finale is going to be him in the black suit doing his thing. But let me ask you a question. So now we have the reveal of War Machine. We know their whole political game, what they're trying to do. What other Avenger is a Skrull? If you had to name one other Avenger that is a Skrull, who do you think it is?
It would have to be someone who does not have any powers because they can't imitate powers.
Okay.
Not until Gravik developed the
whole recently, right? So recently, or do you think no other person's a Skrull? It was only War Machine.
I mean, it's possible it's only War Machine, but the candidates are obviously Natasha, who's dead now, which I think I don't think she was a Skrull because I don't think the whole Soul Stone sacrifice would have worked had she not really been Natasha.
True.
Right?
True.
So then I guess that also kind of disqualifies Hawkeye as well then.
Yes. So are we saying that the only Skrull that we know in the Avengers was War Machine? Nobody else?
Maybe Sharon Carter. She's not an Avenger, but because think about it. I mean, if you're a Skrull and you are impersonating Rhodey, you kind of get a similar job done by impersonating Sharon Carter. And we saw like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series that she's obviously going to be a big player in Armor Wars. So she could potentially be a Skrull as well.
That's the thing right now. I'm stuck on the next episode because I don't know what's going to happen, bro. I feel like next bodies will be dropped. but not it's no clear cut of who's going to be. Okay, we say the wife's gone. Cool, got that. Talos is gone. Nick is not going to die. So
yeah, he's not going to die.
Who's left? Yeah. Gravik's going to be last episode. So,
well, here's the thing. I still think there's a possibility for the president to die. Because remember, we still have Thunderbolts coming up soon.
If it wasn't for the Thunderbolts show, I would argue with you. But because of Thunderbolts show, I will agree with you.
So the president's not long. He's not long for the world.
Nope. I'm going on a wing right now. They tag him out. He makes it out of the season, and he dies in Thunderbolts TV show. And that's how he becomes a movie, and that's how he becomes a president.
Okay, so you think the U.S. president is going to make it through this series?
I think he survives. Because with Nick now, if Nick is where I think he is, and he's not who he is, I feel they're going to do whatever they got to do to make sure the president survives. Because he thinks that's the end.
And they kind of had their chance, and they missed it to take him out.
I'm just saying, I think he makes it out, but then like the first 5 minutes of the Thunderbolts movie, he gets bodied.
That's fair.
I'm just saying. We don't know. Possibilities are crazy. I can't wait till this Wednesday. I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
I know. So I mean, and there's only 2 episodes left, right? There's only 6. And
that's the part. Normally, you know the trajectory of where things are going.
Yeah.
Right now,
it's up in the air right now. I have no idea.
Like, we don't know what's next. Like I don't. Does he make more super scrolls for his side, or does he have an ego where he only keeps it for himself? Like, what does he do?
Well, I think, and this is just a prediction, but I think Gaia, she'll learn of the death of her father by Gravik, right? Obviously, she's already a super scroll. I think she's going to team up with Nick, and together they're going to have to destroy that facility so that they can't make any more super scrolls. Because if they make an army of super scrolls, and if there's really 1 million of them walking amongst us.
So where's War Machine? You think he's inside that room with everybody else?
He must be. I mean, he must be.
So when he wakes up,
because if he was not incapacitated, you would see him at least try to do something.
Joe, so that Armor War gonna be crazy when he wakes up and then everything, the government's all flipped out. This gonna be fun. I can't be fun. Like, please, like, if you have your predictions, fans, of who you think is a scroll. I've heard Doctor Strange is a possibility of being a scroll. People think that. I don't see it, but they think that. I don't see it, but I've heard it. It's just some things happening. I just want to see what y'all's opinion. What's your thoughts? Comment. Let us know. This is fun. It's just a lot of fun.
I'm really enjoying this series. For all the reasons that we mentioned before. Like, this is giving me like Winter Soldier vibes. Like, it's giving me that spy thriller where, like, you don't know what's really going on, where the story's going. Like we said, there's 2 episodes left, and we have no idea how this thing's going to end. Right. And the only thing that we do know is that Fury's going to make it through because we know that he's going to be in the Marvels. But is he going to make it through because he ran away? Because there was nothing else happening. Right. Or is he making it like, why was he up there? Is he up there because he's no longer allowed down here in the Skrulls 1? We don't know. I guess we'll find out on Wednesday, won't we? Wednesday and next Wednesday. Can't wait. Yeah. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Let us know your predictions, your thoughts on who else could possibly be a scroll, where you guys see this series ending, and how it kind of ties into Thunderbolts, the Marvels, and the greater MCU. Still a lot of stuff has to happen in these last 2 episodes for this to get wrapped up. So tune in next week. We'll be back again to break down episode 5 and the finale the week after that. So I've been Prince, Deron. It's a pleasure as always, bro. And we will catch you guys next week. Peace.